Hey folks, we're just waiting to get started. Please, in the meantime, start introducing yourselves in the chat and check out the links we have up. Vermont, Boston, Minneapolis, Arizona, California, Maine, Albany, New York, Cleveland, folks from all over the country, Milwaukee, Ohio, New Jersey, Minneapolis, Oregon. So excited to have you all here tonight. Before we start, I'm going to pass it to one of our wonderful interpreters, Flavia Franco, for instructions on how to listen to this call in Spanish.
Thank you so much, Sakab. So if you're connecting right now on your computer and you would like to listen in English, at this time, please select at the bottom, if you want to listen in Spanish, apologies. Select at the bottom the three dots that say more, click there, and then click language interpretation, and you should be set into the Spanish booth. If you are calling in from a mobile device, this is located at the bottom right. So look for the three dots at the bottom, click language interpretation, select Spanish, and then click done at the top right. Para escuchar en español, en estos momentos tenemos la interpretación disponible. Busquen un botón que dice More o More o más con tres puntitos, opriman ahí y luego toquen interpretación de idiomas y escojan español y van a poder escuchar en español. Thank you so much. Over to you, Sakab.
Thank you so much, Flavia, and Vanessa, our language justice team. Just a reminder to all the speakers, please speak slowly to make things easier for our interpreters. All right, everyone, good night, good evening. My name is Sakib Bhatti. I'm with the Action Center on Race and the Economy and Bargaining for the Common Good, and I'll be your MC tonight. Like I said, if you haven't already, please drop your name and location into the chat so we can see who's here. I'm so excited to be on this call with so many wonderful people. We're here tonight to get pumped for No Kings this Saturday, and then our day of no work, no school, no shopping on May 1st. There's over 700 people on this call right now. We show up because we know our communities are counting on us too. Seems like every week we're faced with a new horror. This week, Trump announced he's sending ICE agents to the airports. They're not there to help with the long wait times at the security lines. They're there to harass and abduct Black and brown people. This past Sunday, you may have seen the video, a mother was violently pinned down and abducted at SFO in San Francisco by ICE agents in front of her daughter. And we know this is just the beginning. Steve Bannon is out there openly admitting that this is actually a test run for deploying ICE agents at the polls for midterm election this November. Right? They want to scare off Black and brown US citizens from going to the polls. At the same time, they try to make it harder for folks to vote by mail. They know that the American people don't want fascism. They know we don't want a Congress that rubber stamps a wannabe king. And they know that in a free and fair election, the American people will vote against fascism and white supremacy. So they want to make damn sure the elections aren't free and fair. And ICE at the airports is just the first step. Right? That's why we have to turn out this Saturday for No Kings and again on May Day to send Trump a clear message that we won't stand for racist attacks on our neighbors. We will not normalize ICE occupations of our cities and our airports. We will not let him drag us into a war on Iran at Israel's behest. And we certainly will not let him steal our elections. Right? We have the power to stop him. And if we don't do it, no one else will. So if you want to get involved and fight back, text solidarity to 58910. Again, text solidarity to 58910 and sign the Mayday pledge at maydaystrong.org. So I'm going to pass it off to our first speaker, Hamse Hossein from SEIU Local 26, who's a rideshare driver in the Twin Cities. He'll talk about what it means for immigrant workers to face down ICE at the airports. Hamse?
Hello, do you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, all right, all right. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, and I'm glad to be here today. It's a great day for me and for my family and my colleagues. And good evening. My name is Hamza Hussein. I'm proud member of SEIU Local 26, Drivers Organizing Committee. I'm a rideshare driver at the Twin Cities Airport. I'm also a U.S. citizen. So drivers for the Uber and Lyft often work long hours for little pay. They're struggling to pay their rent, groceries to support their families. We can be deactivated on top of that. We can deactivate it, fire it without notice or explanation. Rideshare drivers are organizing and fighting for their rights to form union. The only way we can survive when we discuss together our drivers.
Recording in progress.
We figure out to form a union in Minnesota. And other states, they fighting for their rights too to form a union. Over past month, rideshare drivers were stopping and harassing by ICE and border patrols just for doing our jobs at the MSP airport. That means Minneapolis Airport. MSP means Minneapolis. The colleagues who don't know MSP, what it stands for. Some were taken away, so were other airports workers are not breaking the law. We are not breaking the law. We are working, helping people get to their flights and keeping the airport running. We are not only the ones who being hunted in our states, having an increasing ICE activity, are creating a widespread fear, anxiety, and public health crisis. But people in Minnesota did not tolerance ICE harassment, people kidnapping and killing our neighbors. At the rideshare driver waiting lot, airport waiting lot drivers and our supporters stood up to ICE border patrol agents below whistles and stood up for our rights. And on January 23rd, many hundreds, thousands of Minnesotans stay away from work and schools were marching in very cold weather. People were arrested. A lot of faith leaders, they arrested there at that day. I was there. I was one of them, but they don't arrest me. But they arrested at the airport, protesting ICE abuses the companies like Delta that supports the Trump regime. It makes a difference when the people stand up for each other. Rideshare drivers and many people in Minnesota feel safer knowing that we stand up for each other. Now, many people are asking about the announcement that the ICE will be in our airports. So far, we don't see in MSP airport for ICE agencies. No one should, but I hope they come in. One day they come in, but we have to stand up and fight together. And as a Minnesotans, we are not tolerating. We will fight to the end. No one should have to provide their citizenship just to earn living or traveling at the airports anywhere else. That is not what the country stands for. This is intimidating and profiling, not safety. Our airports, schools, and communities should be a place of safety, dignity, and respect. And the last things, please keep showing up when you march in No Kings Day and May's Day. You can fight for country, and that's safe for all of us. And thank you for your listening. Thank you for your time, and we will keep fighting. Thank you.
Thank you, Hamse. Black and brown drivers have a ton of latent power because you all make our cities run, right? Imagine any city functioning for even a day without the thousands of immigrant drivers that get people to where they need to go. It's just not possible, right? So as we look ahead to our day of no work, no school, and no shopping on May 1st, let's all think about the power we have as workers to throw sand in the gears of fascism, right? We're already seeing the impact that TSA workers can have when they call out from work or quit to protest being forced to work without a paycheck. Airports are reporting 4-hour wait times at security lines. Our next speaker is a leader with the American Federation of Government Employees, which is a union that represents TSA workers. Please welcome Cameron Cochums from AFG Local 1127 in Idaho.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me. Thank you, Hamza, for such a great speech to start us off. I just want to talk about what's going on with TSA officers in the airport. Across the country, TSA officers have not been paid since February 14th. That's over 40 days where officers haven't been able to feed their families, pay their rent, pay their mortgages, all these different things that we can't do right now. How that is affecting us is that pregnant officers are being told that they can't re-sign their leases sorry about that. Pregnant officers are being told that they cannot re-sign their leases because they are paying they've had way too many late fees and late payments, and that's because of these shutdowns. We've had 3 shutdowns in the last 4 months, and that is insane, and that's ridiculous. We've had officers around the country that are contemplating suicide. They've looked into their life insurance policies and seen what the policy is to see if they can get it if they commit suicide, and that is ridiculous. People even had to ration medications and pills. And the reason that Trump's idea to solve all this is to bring ICE in. And that's ridiculous. The whole thing about why we're even happening to this is because ICE is going into places like Minneapolis with masks on, shooting people like Alex Preddy. He was an AFGE member in Minnesota. He was a VA officer, a VA nurse. So like, this isn't just for looks. This is what we all think of when we are federal employees. AFGE, I'm connected with all the VA and the air traffic controllers and the Forest Service. There's a solidarity between federal employees that we all have and that ICE, they don't have. And so when they're coming to our airports, there's about 14 airports that they're at right now. I hope the only thing they can do to help us is to give us food, buy us lunches, because that's the only thing they can do aside from sitting at exit and making people scared. So who's even running ICE? Who's running DHS? Who's running TSA? Acting, and the guy that just got promoted yesterday. Unaccountable agencies whose lies from the administration intentionally cause confusion. None of us know what's going on, even at our own agencies, about what's happening right now. And what's the whole goal of all this is the destruction of the middle class. TSA officers around the country get paid less than the average federal employee, and we're still doing these jobs to get up and to get ahead. What they want to do is they want to privatize the TSA. Project 2025, they have 2 different positions when it comes to the TSA. They want to get rid of the union, which they have tried to do, and then they also want to privatize the TSA. What that would lead to is that all of our airports would be run by Securitas, by Elon Musk International, who even knows? But what would happen is they would prioritize speediness and getting people through their checkpoints, and would lead to gaps in our system, which in a world like today where we are literally picking fights with everyone across the world for no reason, why would we need to weaken our airport security? That's just insane. So yeah, destruction of the middle class. And what we can do to do this is, if you are in a workforce that can be unionized or in a union, you should join them, even if you're not in them. Groups like rideshare drivers, steel workers, teachers, firefighters, plumbers, pipe fitters. Those are the people that are fighting against the administration. The billionaires and the oligarchs, they have no one that's pushing back against them besides unions. The news isn't. They're all run by the same people. Social media ain't. They're changing their algorithms to support those people. And so AFGE, we're one of the only people that's fighting in the courts. Our members are going on TV every day, on CNN, on Fox News, I was on Democracy Now! Yesterday. That's crazy. I'm just some random guy in Boise. We are doing these things because we can fight back. I could not do this without the union. Without the union, I would have to sit back and be quiet and wait for my job to be taken away from me. So being able to speak out, speak and keep moving forward is really important. If you can donate to any unions that you've even heard of, AFG, AFL-CIO, IBEW, SEIU, everything like that, that's what you got to do. Also, if you're flying in the next couple weeks, next couple days, you're going to be waiting in line. I'm sorry to tell you that. So while you're doing that, you should call Congress and let them know that you're not upset at the TSA officers. You're upset at them. You're upset at this administration. You're upset at all those people who are trying to weaken the middle class and get rid of us because all they want is for us to consume and be quiet. So what you got to do is make sure you come out this Saturday to your No Kings rallies across the country, and make sure you come out to May Day on May 1st. Also, without the union, us in Boise, the TSA, we have been able to raise money through Idaho 5051. They have gave us at least $2,500 in canned foods for our members. The Ada County Democrats, they raised $7,000 in less than a day for our members. The Idaho AFL-CIO, they've raised money, and they're going to help pay rents and power bills and things like that. Mutual aid, they're even getting Easter baskets for all of us. So thank you for everyone for showing up. Keep it up, Union strong, and listen to the Dropkick Murphys. They rock.
Thank you, Cameron. I mean, what Trump is doing to TSA workers is just shameful, and we know that it's part of his attack on the federal workers since he's coming back into office. And our heart goes out to AFG members everywhere who are mourning the loss of the union brother Alex Preddy, as you mentioned, Cameron. So we're now up to nearly 950 people on this call, so that's really exciting. And I'm very excited for our next speaker, America's favorite flight attendant. So let's see some love for the president of the Association of Flight Attendants, Sarah Nelson.
Thank you so much. So I really can't say it better than Cameron, and I'm so happy Cameron's on here because I wanted to tell him great job on Democracy Now! And his other hits. Let's be really clear. If federal workers can't do their jobs, the rest of us can't do ours either. And that is certainly true with flight attendants. So right now, we are super concerned. We fought for TSA. We fought for TSA workers to become a federalized workforce. I want to be really clear that the reason that I'm here, the reason I'm president of our union, is because I was doing union work. I was the strike chair, national strike chair, when September 11th hit. And we know what crisis capitalists will do because of September 11th. When I think about that, I think about the lives lost, but I think about all that came after that. The pensions that were lost, the time that was given up, the bankruptcies, the breaking of union contracts. And this is all a product of starting with firing the air traffic controllers in 1981 and President Reagan saying that it was open season on unions and trying to make the strike a dirty word and trying to make workers isolated and feel like we're in competition with each other rather than working with each other to lift each other up. So I want to be really clear that TSA officers didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to go to work and I'm going to make sure that this country is safe in a federalized system that my sisters and brothers helped me organize my union, and so that we can win better wages. We fought so hard for the union. We fought hard for the right to bargain for TSA. We fought hard for the rights to increase their pay. And we did all of that. And we improved that profession and made it a profession that people can feel proud of. San Francisco Francisco, when TSA was formed, they had already organized at San Francisco Airport. And so they are still not part of TSA. The San Francisco air traffic controllers are getting paid, but that's because of the basis of a union contract. And then they are plugged into the rest of the federal system. On the other end of the country, they tried to privatize Orlando a few years ago. We said, hell no, because that meant that workers were going to lose their pensions. They were going to lose their health care. They were going to lose the pay that they were making. And we knew that if you do that, you go back to a place of privatized security, going to the lowest bidder, and not being focused on actual safety and security. So I lost my friends on 9/11. I lost Amy and Michael and another Amy and Al and Alicia and Catherine, Marianne and Jesus. And as we were grieving, those crisis capitalists swooped in. And what the person in the White House is doing right now is being the greatest crisis capitalist of all time. In fact, making crises in order to come in and swoop in and try to solve them. So this was in the plan. We shouldn't be surprised by this. TSA workers are not a pawn in a political game. They need to get paid for the work that they're doing. And the fact that they're not is creating an excuse to try to bring ICE in. That's what we have to understand. We cannot let them pit us against each other in this fight. That is why we have to come out and we have to say, no kings. That's why I'm going to be out there on Saturday. That's why I'm going to take part. And our union is going to take part this Saturday and on May 1st. And that is why we are talking right now about the fact that we may get to a place where our safety and security is at such a great risk that has been created, manufactured by the people in the White House to be able to extract more from the system, to be able to privatize everything, to be able to have the argument to send in ICE and try to take over our airports. And we may be in a situation where we have to say we cannot go to work under those conditions. And so we're talking about that. We're talking about that and assessing the conditions in our union. And frankly, we should have all been in the streets the day that the TSA contract, they tried to cancel the TSA contract. Sure, we filed in federal court. We joined AFGE in that lawsuit. But all of us should have understood what that moment meant. Because 13,000 air traffic controllers lost their union and lost their contract in 1981. And the rest of us have felt the pain ever since. We're directly connected to TSA officers, but so are all the people who travel on our planes. So are the people who are standing in the lines. Those lines are nothing. I used to talk with one of our union negotiators who talked about the fact that when ValueJet crashed in the Everglades and was lost forever, not one of those families or those passengers on ValueJet talked about the cheap ticket that they got and the value that they got for that ticket. The crisis capitalists always want us to look at costs, and they always want us to think that we're in competition with each other. We have to practice solidarity. We have to come out together this Saturday. We have to come out together on May 1st. We have to continue to build our solidarity and understand that an attack on one worker is an attack on all of us. An attack on one person is an attack on all of us. And also that in this moment, we have to organize like never before. We have to build up our unions. I'm going to launch a nonprofit with a national strike fund and support for people who are organizing. And I hope that all of you will support that too. But we have to continue to urgently organize in this moment and practice solidarity every which way we can, because that is what will fight back and win against the people who see us not only as a line item, but as disposable in their efforts to try to control everything. But remember one thing, they may have the money and they may have the control because they have that money. But when we exercise our solidarity and our power, we are the only ones with power when we act together, and we can take control and take back our money and our time. And that's what we need to do, not just fight against something, but fight for something. And I'm in this with all of you to fight for the world that we need.
Wow, thank you so much, Sarah. It's always so great and so powerful to hear from you, and really so glad you're able to join us tonight and to have you leading the way. Folks, listen to Sarah, right? We have to stand up, fight back together. So please go sign the Mayday Pledge at maydaystrong.org and text Solidarity to 58910 so we can get you plugged in. All right, y'all. No Kings isn't just 3 days. Who here is going to go to No Kings this weekend? Right, drop what city you'll be in on Saturday in the chat. Right, I know I'll be in Chicago, and I can't wait. 7 million people turned out for the last No Kings in the fall, and we know we're going to blow that number out of the water this Saturday. So here to tell us how, please welcome Tim Hernandez from Indivisible, who put on a collared shirt, even though I said he didn't have to.
I want to make sure that I'm representing our coalition as best as I can. With that, everyone, on Saturday, as you all have been talking about, we're having our No Kings Day. Right now, we have 3,200 events on our map with all 50 states and territories covered, with 400 partner organizations and still growing. We're looking to have the largest coordinated nonviolent mobilization we've ever built. And we're responding to a lot of dark things that are looming behind us right now, with an illegal war in Iran launched without congressional approval, billions going to masked agents raiding our neighborhoods, nothing for working families who are consistently being crushed by groceries, housing, and can't even afford to think about healthcare. Folks have died in ICE custody, and the administration is at war with its own people and now dragging us into an illegal war abroad. All of it to serve an administration that answers to its billionaire allies first, not to the people. They're running this country like a personal company, and the working people are paying the price. So every time we show up, we prove there are more of us and we're not going away. That we say in America, we don't do kings. Leah, our co-founder with Indivisible, has said, courage is contagious. And I really want to emphasize that. After every mobilization, people, institutions in positions of power in their own communities feel emboldened to push back because of what happened in the streets. That's not a side effect. That is the point. Every person who goes to a No Kings event is that spark, and they're helping build that collective fire. What we do together and how we push back helps us push back against that dark and show the light that it is that we have as working folks. Street action creates the conditions for everything else we do. No billionaire, no strongman can outspend what we build when working people move together. And so we're heading into Saturday with momentum, and we're not letting up after. After No Kings comes May Day. And so right now, what can you do? RSVP at nokings.org if you haven't already. Have a conversation with your coworkers, your neighbors, every person who's asking or thinking to themselves right now, what can I even do? The answer is show up on the streets, be there on Saturday. And so with that, I look forward to seeing you all on Saturday. I look forward to showing the administration that this is what we can do when we all mobilize together.
Thanks, Tim, and thank you to the entire No Kings Coalition. We know doing something on this massive scale, it just takes a ton of effort and lots of hands going to it. So, folks, your assignment, should you choose to accept it, is to show up this weekend for No Kings and then show up again on May Day. And on May Day, we're calling for no work, no school, no shopping. Our friends in Minnesota shut down the Twin Cities with their call for no work, no school, no shopping on January 23rd. Over 1 million Minnesotans participated. More than 700 small businesses shut down that day, and more than 75,000 people took to the streets in -40 below wind chill. Right? And look at the impact they had. Because of them, Trump fired Kristi Noem, and he ended the ICE surge in Minnesota. Right? No work, no school, no shopping is effective because it hits Trump and his billionaire oligarchs in their pocketbooks. We're not just doing these big mobilizations for the sake of it. This is practice. We have to build the muscles for economic disruption because that's what Trump and his billionaire buddies respond to. We know Trump is planning on stealing the election. He's terrified of voters who are pissed off that he's waging war on our cities and in Iran while the cost of gas goes through the roof. He's terrified because he knows the Republicans are losing special elections across the country because people are pissed at him. As of last night, a Democrat now represents Trump's Mar-a-Lago home in the Florida State Senate, which is in a deeply, deeply red district. So we know he wants to steal the election, and we know that he's already set the ball rolling with all the intense voter suppression measures he's pushing, including ICE deployments into Black and brown neighborhoods to keep voters terrified. So what are we going to do when he steals the election? We have to be ready to cause economic disruption on a scale unheard of in this country. In South Korea, when there was an attempted coup just 2 years ago, workers shut down the entire country and they stopped the coup. On Saturday, millions will turn out across the country for No Kings. On May Day, we will escalate. There will be actions in cities and towns all across the country. And in over a dozen cities, folks are going all in on no work, no school, no shopping. Right? We'll have Minnesotas everywhere. We'll continue to host solidarity schools all through the summer in cities all across the country. By the time we get to Labor Day, we'll have had solidarity schools in over 100 places to get people ready. And then on Labor Day, we'll have an even bigger, even more disruptive day of action, right? You heard it here. You heard it here. There'll be no school anywhere in the country on Labor Day. We're going to shut down the schools, shut down the workplaces, and it's a joke, folks. Labor Day is a school holiday, but it's true, right? We're gonna no school, no shopping, no work, no school, no shopping. Like I said, this is all practice because we're building our muscles by flexing them, so we can be ready to shut things down when Trump tries to steal the election in November, just like they did in North Korea. Sorry, South Korea. Just like they did in South Korea. Elections in North Korea are a different story. And so if you haven't yet, please sign the Mayday Pledge at maydaystrong.org and text solidarity to 58910. Our next two speakers will talk about what it looks like to actually build those muscles. So Christina Vandilia from the Alliance to Reclaim Our Schools and David Shore from Strike Ready will talk about the work we need to do between now and Mayday. So first, over to Christina.
Hi, y'all. So excited to be here. My name is Christina Tendilia, based here in Chicago, and I work with Midwest Academy, and I've been working over the last month with Alliance to Reclaim Our Schools. And I think I don't know if the slides are showing here for folks. Great. Thank you. And so a little bit about Alliance to Reclaim Our Schools and Free the Future. It is an organization that was founded in 2013, and the vision was the idea that public education is a human right and our nation's gateway to racial and economic justice. And we were fighting privatization, and now we're here spread across the country. And so we just wrapped up 4 weeks training people all over the country, a lot of people who'd never organized, who'd never been out in the streets, and they, had the courage to think about, okay, I'm going to go out to, No King's Day, but what's after that? And so we have provided this space for folks to train, right? To get focused and figure out how do we organize in our communities, build support locally. And so I want to talk about the trainings that we have coming up. And I think it's in the chat here. There's a link for folks to sign up. So really hope people can join us. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. And so a little bit about 4 Weeks to Power. It's starting April 9th. So important. Thank you. You see there's a one-pager to know about what the program looks like. And then also for folks, you'll see here in these 4 weeks, we learn together. You connect with people all over the country. We just wrapped up, and the topics here, thinking about what's happening in this political moment, right? And an intro to community organizing. A second session on how do we have conversations with our neighbors, our friends, strangers. We love talking to strangers. So important for us to talk to strangers in this moment. And then also, how do we not only talk to people, but invite people to be a part of teams, local teams, or an organizing committee? And then once we build our local teams, how do we actually take action and talk about what we've been talking about earlier, imposing political or economic costs, shutting it down, strikes, boycotts, and doing that together, taking that collective courage and taking collective action. And so these 4 weeks of power, this is a way for people to train together, to be connected ongoing with people across the country who are doing the same thing. And also maybe connecting with people who are in your local area who also want to organize. And so again, invite people to come join us, register with us at the 4 Weeks of Power, and we hope to see you there on April 9th. And I'll pass it to you, David. Thanks, everyone.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Chris. That was really amazing to hear. And hello to everybody. My name is David, and I'm in Oakland, California, calling as a part of the Strike Ready Corps. And I'm super grateful to be here alongside all of you and all these powerful speakers. We know the energy that we're going to see this weekend at No Kings 3. And we also know that it's not enough to show up on a weekend and call it a day. This moment calls for more. History shows us that authoritarians may not want to respond to morals or laws or even elections, but we know what forces them to respond. And it's when there's mass collective action shutting down business as usual and demanding real transformative change. That's exactly what we're building at the Strike Ready Corps. We're a leaderful movement that is committed to the sustained type of action that can actually take down an authoritarian regime. This is true on May 1st, when we commit to no work, no school, no shopping, and it continues after. We have to go beyond being people who care. We need to be people who do. We're building strike readiness by empowering everyone, regardless of affiliation, experience, or background, to be organizers. That means bringing in neighbors and coworkers and members of our religious communities. It means bringing in people we know and people we don't know. And what do we mean when we say strike ready? What we mean is that first, that we're trained, that we know how mass non-cooperation around withholding our labor actually works and how to do it. Second, we get organized. We're building networks in our workplaces and communities that are ready to act together. And third, we're getting connected. When you join the Strike Ready Corps, you're not signing up to do this alone. You're flanking a growing movement of unions, organizations, and everyday people, just like all of us who are on this call and everybody in Mayday Strong and all the other groups working towards this. This weekend, we're showing up at No Kings 3 and telling people to not stop after Saturday, but come back Sunday and Monday and all the days after that. Our next call is April 1st, and we're inviting all of you and anyone you talk with to join us that day. In the chat, we have a link for signing up for our April 1st call, and we also have a flyer that you can use to recruit anyone you see on Saturday to join us on April 1st. What we're asking is that you don't leave Saturday without knowing what you're going to do after. If you don't have a plan, join the Strike Ready Corps, and we really cannot wait to see you there. I feel so grateful to be here. Thank you a lot, and I'll pass it back to the MCs.
Thank you so much, Christina and David. Like, really so glad and so grateful that you're helping us prepare for May Day with these trainings and just getting ready. So our next speaker is Grace Martinez from the Alliance of Californians for Community Empowerment, or ACE. I mean, ACE is an organization that really knows how to shut things down. I first met Grace many, many years ago at an action where we were shutting down bank branches together with ACE members during the foreclosure crisis. So Grace, please tell us about your plans for May Day in the Bay Area.
Thank you for having me. Grace Martinez with ACE. We, like many of our speakers, we're organizers, have been talking about just getting ready and building the skills in our community. Much of our work, ACE is a statewide organization that focuses on organizing low to moderate communities of color, focused on economic, racial, social issues in our neighborhoods. And it's really led by people who are impacted by the issues in our community. We have been in coalition with like Bay Resistance here in Oakland, alongside with David from Strike Ready Corps, just focused on getting everyone ready for May Day, but also seeing that May Day is one day. It's one big day to assess as a region, as a state, can we, and I'm gonna say some bad words here, can we get our shit together so we're ready to like make sure that we're protecting our democracy even beyond May Day? and it isn't just about striking for this one moment in time. It's also going on the offense and looking at who are these corporate enablers. We have Peter Thiel with Palantir that is, you know, using surveillance to go after our communities. You've got like Target and Home Depot really complicit and also supporting this regime as amongst so many other corporations. And a lot of May Day is one day, but we have to keep up the fight to go after like these corporations that are upholding this presidency, using this presidency as like a way to just like give themselves corporate tax breaks and, you know, dismantle unions and continue to destroy communities. So big focus is getting people ready, talking to strangers, as someone said. Like, we can't just show up at the march. We're going to have to talk to our neighbors. And, you know, this fight, and I know that everyone wants like maybe some heavy metal and like a punk rock shirt to hope that this revolution starts, but it might even just be the most mundane thing where everyday working class people have a shared value and can resist. And so I think beyond just May Day, what are we going to do to like keep doing actions and direct actions on these corporations and keep talking and building a democracy that actually works for all of us? Because we know that the democracy, even prior to this presidency, it was what allowed this to happen. And we need to build a new future and a new democracy that everyone can participate in. So if you haven't already, definitely signed on to the May Day pledge, because if we're going to really do this, imagine if millions and millions of people throughout the nation shut down one day, it's going to send a message. And that's hopefully going to be just the beginning of what we have to do. And also actions leading up to it, all the practice stuff. I think David has already talked about, you know, learning to talk to our neighbors, but they're actions that you can take on, you know, Target. Some of the other, I'm sure there's actions going to be at the airport, but practicing those skills even leading up to May Day, I think is going to something that we all have to focus on. Thank you.
That's amazing, Grace. Thank you so much. And yes, Target, Home Depot, Hilton, Amazon. I mean, these are all these companies are complicit in the fascist attacks that we're seeing. So folks, May Day Strong is launching an art library for May Day organizers and attendees to utilize at protests and actions this year. So we invite visual artists everywhere to submit graphic art that supports our efforts to build a pro-worker, pro-student, pro-immigrant, and pro-planet movement to take on the billionaires. So deadline to submit to the May Day Strong Art Library is Sunday, April 5th at 11:59 p.m. Pacific. The link is in the chat. Please, if you have something you want to submit, please head over there and do that. We would love to feature the artwork. So now we're down to our last set of speakers, Ashley Harris and Jackson Potter from the Chicago Teachers Union.
Hey, good night, everybody. Hope you are getting inspired this evening. Ashley and I are here in Chicago to talk to you a little bit about what's going on in our city and our plans for No Kings and building to May Day. Our members overwhelmingly voted for a day of no shopping, no school, no work. You're hearing from other leaders nationwide that, you know, people across the country are going to nationalize what happened in Minneapolis. It's going to be a powerful, more bold set of actions. And we're leaning into a national moment that's got both great peril and promise. On the peril side, I don't need to remind people, ICE at airports, like Sarah said, this inflationary spiral, global destabilization and war, working people being pushed out of healthcare, food assistance, housing when prices are out of control. But on the plus side, No Kings is about to be the biggest protest in our history. May Day's already impressive last year is going to be even more tremendous this year. It'll be 20 times Minneapolis, all 50 states, greater disruption, and on a work day and a collective structure test that will give pro-democracy forces a chance to flex our collective power, bring more people who are frustrated as ever from forever wars and billionaire tax breaks to fight back amidst a moment of rupture when old worlds die, new ones are reborn. And we've got the 250th anniversary of this country's founding, but one where the majority of people are going to want control over their government, not just rich guys who keep getting richer, wealthier at our expense. We want ICE out of our cities, our airports, to protect and advance our democracy, stop these wars, stop the tax breaks to the rich to fund what our people need. It means being ready to rumble when they move to steal the election. And those of us on this call, let's throw down this Saturday on No Kings, and let's be in the streets from that point to May Day to the 250th anniversary and beyond. Thanks for having us on the call tonight. Hope to see you all in the streets.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Jackson. We're all grateful for CTU's leadership. You always lead the way in, and we're all the better off for it. So, all right, folks, I know it's not like a broken record, but one more time, show up this Saturday for No Kings. You can find a rally near you at nokings.org. Sign the Mayday Pledge on maydaystrong.org. And join our day of action at no work, no school. And join our day of no work, no school, no shopping on May 1st. And text solidarity at 58910. We are in the fight of our lives. So let's start building the muscles we need to take on Trump and his billionaire buddies and win. So thank you, everybody, and good night.
Recording.